ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानविनाशकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। So today is the most auspicious day of 73rd Vyas Puja. Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. So we have to know what is Vyas Puja. So anyone has any idea or any understanding, they can share. Krishna, you can say, anyone having any idea about what is Vyas Puja? हरिबोल, आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है? निशांत, राहुल, गुड्डू, कमलेश्वर, व्यास पूजा मतलब क्या है, थोड़ा बोल सकते हैं?
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna, bro. Vyas Puja, we can say that it is a day. On that day, we can show our gratitude to our spiritual master. Yes, bro.
Very nice. Yeah, what you said is correct. Anyone want to say anything?
Prabhu, general meaning of Vyas Puja is appearance day of our Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, that is also nice. Okay. So it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27th shloka. You can note that. 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27. It's very easy to remember. 11, 17, 27. Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, ācāryaṁ māṁ vijānīyān navamanyeta karhicit martya-buddhyāsūyeta sarva-deva-mayo guruḥ. That means one should know the ācārya as myself and never disrespect him anyway. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, it comes in 11th canto. Lord Shri Krishna has spoken this thing. He was questioned by Uddhav regarding the 4 social and spiritual orders. So he was specifically instructing how brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. And while saying that one, Krishna says that ācāryaṁ means a spiritual master has to be understood as equal to as Krishna. Mam vijānīyān. Krishna is telling this one. A spiritual master is as good as me. One should know, and he should never disrespect. So nowadays there is a very wrong way of bringing up. Recently I saw one student's WhatsApp status. He was telling, don't think that if you are senior, you are God. Don't think that if you are senior means you are God. That means we will hear whatever you say. No, we have the right to ask questions. So this is the mood of present generation, questioning the authority. But now we have to understand in which mood we can question. That is most important. Questioning the authority is not a bad thing. Of course, we should not be a blind follower. But in what mood we should ask? That is called process of inquiry. We have to inquire, not challenge. The spiritual master says that yes, Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. You can inquire, but you cannot challenge that. No, I will not accept. So that is the mood required to understand spiritual. So in this Vyas Puja celebration, we'll be going to start this special class we had in Silchar before. We will understand the principle of ācārya. We will understand what is Guru Tattva. And it is very, very much important. It's not just for initiation we need a Guru. It's not just for going back to Godhead we need a Guru. No, Guru is representative of Krishna. So in all Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, and Shankara Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, if you go to those old temples, you see everywhere there is the Murti of ācārya. There is worship of spiritual master. Because all these Sampradayas are based on Bhagavatam. It's based on Vedic scriptures. So these are actually showing us practically what has to be followed. It's not a blind following. You have to understand. Lord Krishna himself accepts spiritual master. Lord Rama accepts spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts spiritual master. So we should never think that, oh, I don't need any spiritual master, especially living spiritual master. Right? Did Lord Ram accept any spiritual master who is not living? Can anyone answer?
No, Prabhu.
Did Krishna accept any spiritual master who is not living?
No.
Others also should say answer, or you have to put in chat box. If you are blindly and गूंगा बहरा बोलता ना ऐसा बैठे रहेंगे तो it will not be good. When I ask question, you should say. Thank you, Kamlesh. So that means the Ācārya's Lord himself has set an example for the whole world that you should accept a living Guru. So it's very easy to understand. If you want to make complicated, we can get complicated, we can get confused, and we may get deviated. For example, there are some people in our ISKCON also think that Prabhupada is the only spiritual master. There is no requirement of any living Guru because no living Guru is qualified. They think this, but that's not true. How can you understand who is qualified? By his preaching. So are there no spiritual masters in ISKCON who are preaching extensively, tirelessly? So many spiritual masters. They have become old. They can retire. They can stay in a 5-star hotels. They have disciples who are like millionaires and billionaires. But they are just traveling. If you have traveled in a flight, you can understand it's even worse than traveling in sleeper. Means most worse than that also, traveling in a flight. You get jet lag, you get ear pain, and traveling like for 15 hours, hectic, and the seats are not good. So it's not such an easy, cozy thing to travel in a flight. You have to go to the airport. You just go to the Bangalore airport, you will understand. You have to travel for more than 1.5 hours to 2 hours. That's when there is no traffic. So you can just imagine why these sannyasis and spiritual masters are traveling, because they want to preach the message of Lord Krishna till the end of their death. That we can see in Srila Prabhupada also. He preached till his end of his death. And he was on deathbed, he was still preaching to the whole world. So that is the quality of spiritual master. Quality of spiritual master means that he is always in preaching. Okay. So on this Vyasa Puja celebration, a disciple expresses his gratitude that because the spiritual master is taking all the reactions of the living entity and is offering him to Krishna. He is making disciples. It looks like he is making followers, but he is making follower of previous Ācārya. If you see Prabhupada's life, Prabhupada never said, become my follower. Prabhupada always said, follow my spiritual master. Means everything happened because of my spiritual master. He gave his gratitude to spiritual master, thus Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So now that legacy has to continue. So now Prabhupada disciples, they give the gratitude, they offer their gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. So now we express our gratitude to our spiritual master. So that chain of disciplic succession will continue. And we should not think that the spiritual master is ordinary person. It is one of the, can anyone say where does it comes to consider a spiritual master as an ordinary person? Can anyone say where it comes? Divyanshu, Rahul, Guddu, Nishant.
Prabhu in 11 canto 17, 27 verse.
That I already said. It comes another way, another place it comes. To consider the spiritual master as an ordinary person. Where you have read, where you have come across this thing? You chant 10 offenses every day or you blindly sleep? Are you able to
Yes, bro.
remember?
Yes, bro. In 10th offenses, it is mentioned that to
So it shows that how attentively you are speaking or you are chanting the 10 offenses. Every day you say and you don't even remember what you say. And these people are called as intellectual people. So it's spiritual master is non different. Spiritual master is purely and selflessly surrendered to Krishna. As was Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, we can see how Arjuna also accepts Krishna as spiritual master. The spiritual master is not just the conveyor of Krishna's will, he is also the gateway to Krishna on Krishna's behalf. He receives all disciples' service and bestow mercy. That's why it's mentioned. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati pitopi. By the mercy of spiritual master, by the blessing of the spiritual master, we get the blessing or the mercy of Krishna. So, such powerful personality is spiritual master. On this Vyas Puja, therefore, we should offer our gratitude, our service. We are reaffirming ourselves to the spiritual master that this year I have done such a preaching, spiritual activity, devotional service. Now I want to do more. Please bless me. And because of the spiritual master's mercy, only one can take up devotional service. Otherwise, it's not at all possible. Whoever takes up devotional service is only by the mercy of spiritual master. We may think, oh, I am preaching this boy, I made him devotee. No. He has become devotee because of his spiritual master's mercy. But I was just an instrument for him to bring to Krishna consciousness. Okay. So Vyasadeva is the topmost spiritual master. He is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Why he is considered a spiritual master? Can anyone say? He is the what you can say, like you can say, he is the essence of all the spiritual masters, or you can say, yeah, he is the amalgamation of all the spiritual masters. Why? Can anyone say? Vyasa Puja, we are saying no. So why Vyasa? Vyasa only we are telling. We could have said Narada Puja. We could have said Ramanujacharya Puja. Why only Vyasa there? Vyasa Puja.
So because Vyasdev gave the all the Puranas in simplest form to us, the knowledge of Vedas, uh, and also he gave the Bhagavatam, which is considered the ripened fruit of the all Vedas.
Yeah, that's correct answer. Vyasdev has given Vedic literature to this material world, to all living entities. Therefore, he is called as the essence, like essence of all spiritual masters. Even we can see Vyasdev when he was little bit despondent, Srila Narada Muni comes and gives him instruction that you have written so many literatures, but because you have not compiled any literature based on the pastimes of Krishna, so therefore you are despondent, you are disappointed. Still, we don't call Narada Puja, we call Vyasa Puja. So we have to understand. So Vyasadev was not disappointed. Vyasadev was not despondent. He is actually literary incarnation of Krishna. But there is a necessity of some pastime where through that pastime some contribution will be done to the whole world. A revolution will be done in the world. Therefore, Vyasadev takes a part of an ordinary muni or like ordinary sage, and he sits with some type of disappointment. Then Narada Muni addresses it. So similarly, in the chain of disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada is representing Vyasadev. He traveled all over the world 14 times and he spread this message of Krishna. So this year, we know how many years of Vyas Puja was celebrated of Srila Prabhupada this year?
125th. 125th.
Yes. So this 125th Vyas Puja of Srila Prabhupada is going on this year. So it's a great contribution, and we should feel always connected to Prabhupada. We should pray to Prabhupada. One of the way of contemplating Srila Prabhupada's contribution is to remember and to be connected to his mission and to contribute from our side also. That is the way we can contemplate on Prabhupada's contribution. So Srila Prabhupada came, he created a revolution all over the world and he attracted people. And therefore, when we are celebrating Vyasa Puja, even Srila Prabhupada's Murti is always there. Srila Prabhupada's deity is always there. It's not Vyasa Puja of Jayapataka Swami Maharaj means it's glorification or it's not a worship to only him. No. It is a worship and glorification to him, and he is passing this glorification, he is passing this worship, he is passing these offerings given by disciples to his spiritual master. So, no spiritual master can just enjoy the name, fame, worship which comes to him. If a spiritual master enjoys that, he falls down. That we have to understand. A spiritual master who is very pure at heart, he never takes all his glorifications for himself and he doesn't feel, oh, I am such a great person. He always sees that I was nothing. I became great because of my spiritual master's power, by his empowerment. But in today's modern world, what we think? We want a spiritual master for some purpose and then we kick him out. We want a teacher, we want a guru to learn something, to achieve something. Then once you achieve, you kick him out. And that's what nowadays, even in spiritual institutions, in your institution also, people took initiation from different spiritual masters and they just rejected the guru. So this is to be very much seriously taken into our life. We have accepted Prabhupada as spiritual master. We have accepted his disciple as our spiritual master. So we should stick up on it. So there's one some small pastime. Prabhupada was asked by a girl a question that why Prabhupada this thing did not happen before, that this is gone or this preaching. Before you come, why did not happen? Prabhupada gave a very nice sweet reply. He said, because you had not been born. So therefore, I did not give this message before. And now it has been brought so that you will get delivered. So there is a small pastime of Prabhupada. So sweetly he says. So such a heart of a spiritual master is very, very sweet. Although Prabhupada was like cutting, his words were like cutting, but at heart was always very sweet. So he gave this Srimad Bhagavatam to this whole world. This material world is full of ignorance and people are rottening and people are getting lured by illusory things. But if someone is getting connected to Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a pure knowledge, therefore there is a pure effect. And every person's life gets transformed. So Prabhupada knew that what has to be given. So he gave Bhagavatam. He did not give something else. There are so many other scriptures, so many scriptures. I don't want to name. So many scriptures are there. Samhitas, Upanishads, Aranyakas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, so many things are there. But Prabhupada gave Srimad Bhagavatam because he knew this was the dire need of this time and only this will work. Rest everything is okay, but only Bhagavatam will change the heart of the people in Kali Yuga. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also taught Bhagavatam. We have to understand this mood and we have to give this mood to other generation. We have to follow this mood. Then only it's a real Vyasa Puja. Vyasa Puja means not just being grateful to the spiritual master, but having a reaffirmation towards the spiritual master that yes, now for the next year, O spiritual master or O Srila Prabhupada, I will be committed. I will be doing my devotional service sincerely. Any question? So it is 7:30. Any question is there, we can take. So once in a week, we'll have this class, or I will try to have every day. I will let you know after a few days. Maybe every day is difficult. Maybe once in 2 days in a week, we can have this class. So one more thing, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned by Kaviraj, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that whatever difficult, impossible things are there in our life can become easy and possible by just remembering Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, if we remember Srila Prabhupada, whatever is uncomfortable, discomfort, or impossible, very hard things can become possible and easy just by remembering Srila Prabhupada. While Prabhupada was traveling in Jaladuta ship, Prabhupada writes in the last of the poem, "Make me dance, make me like a puppet, and make me dance according to your will." So on the sacred occasion of Vyas Puja celebration, we have to pray to the spiritual master same way that, oh spiritual master, let me dance like a puppet in your hand. Okay, let me dance like a puppet in the spiritual master's hand. Puppet is actually, they are used like this. Puppeteer, he makes the puppets dance by his finger. The puppets himself will not dance. He will make dance and the puppet will dance. So if we are having some type of disobedience, so then the spiritual master wants me to dance. He wants me to lift hand. I will tell no, I will not lift hand. That is called disobedience to the spiritual master. So we should be obedient to the spiritual master, and that's for our own well-being. And we have to take shelter of the spiritual master. We have to take initiation from spiritual master. We have to serve spiritual master. I said you, in all other sampradayas, in all four sampradayas, they worship spiritual master even more than Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna himself is saying that you should understand that I am this ācārya. Okay. Any question is there? You can ask. Otherwise, we'll end this class.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Ekadasi fasting is today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Today I am fasting till noon.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Anuj, Divanshu, Vidu, Kamleshwar, Rahul, Shyam. Hare Krishna. We'll end the session here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Any question?
No Prabhu, no question.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Maharaj ki jai. Vyas Puja Mahamotsav ki jai.
Jai.